Was I an idiot for jumping into this franchise 4 movies deep without watching a single one before it? Let's find out. Chase Lee Hockey here at the Blue Futon, reviewing God Not Dead and God We Trust in 15 seconds. Sorry, just give me the review. Anyway, this is not in 15 seconds, I can promise you that. Okay, so, Guilty. This is the 4th one in the franchise. Haven't watched the first 3. Also, Guilty. So I go into the movie theater, starts at 6:30. I go in at 6:20 or 35. The movie's already started. This is the first time I've ever seen this happen. Maybe because it's the Phantom event and they decided to do no trailers. Or not even the Regal thing where it's like Mountain Dew, Pepsi, Star, Sierra Mist stuff. No, straight to the movie. So I missed the first 5-ish minutes. It sounded like the first 5-ish minutes was a debate gone completely wrong for one side of the aisle. And now there's one candidate that's like, I'm going to win. I'm winning this Arkansas race. Cake is freaking cake. However, one side, Isaiah Washington's in Washington. He's like, we really need to win this seat because if we lose this election, we lose control of the Senate. Basically, the House is already screwed. Presidency, we need this seat to keep at least some control of Washington. And so they find a pastor. I'm guessing he was in the 3rd movie about how he went to Congress and he preached about, how government's not evil, but it's like, separation of church and state. I'm guessing the 3rd one. I'm freaking guessing. But anyway, this one, now he's going up to get to be a congressman. Now he's got to go after this one guy who is pretty anti-church and everything. He's basically like, if he believes that this person prays, that's a nationalist, and that's his type of theology. And this other guy's like, nope, God, we need God in our life kind of a thing. And so did I like this film. I didn't think it was bad. I kind of enjoyed what it was trying to say because there is a deeper message in this movie. Yes, you could say it's kind of preachy on some levels. You could say that about any Christian movie, honestly, but it really didn't bother me because it wasn't just about, God. It wasn't just about prayer. It was other things about, are you willing to get up and do something? Are you going to vote? Because the main part of this movie is saying there are 40 million Christians that do not vote and 15 million that are unregistered. So this movie's basically like, if you don't go and vote, if you don't even register to vote, you're shut-upping and you're coloring because you're not allowed to talk. And it had that subtle message of like, if you're not going to do anything about it, shut up and color, go sit in the corner in the very nicest way of, if you're wanting change but refusing to even try to change, go sit in that corner because you're not allowed to talk. So I did like that message where they decided to bring that up. I put it out of my mouth, and it kind of sucks. So that's why if I sound a little bit weird, I'm sorry. Alright, so there's that. Overall, it is a competently well-made film. I think it's directed pretty well. There's some good acting in this movie. Isaiah Washington's in it. Scott Baio's in it. And his character is only in it to, like, stoke the flame and have some money into it. So I thought that was a very weak plot point. Also, we tried to do a side character with this girl who's trying to help this, pastor become a congressman. And she does have a past with, one of the political advisors on the other side of the aisle and a child. And what she's trying to do is she really trying to help the pastor get back at her quote-unquote ex. That was a kind of weak storyline, but kind of strong at the same time because that guy was a complete sleazebag. And he played the sleazebag so damn well. Like, it is impressive how he played the part. I mean, perfect. But again, it's like whenever she was on and she was trying to, like, contribute to her arc of the story, it did, in my opinion, slow the movie down. Every time Isaac Washington was on the screen or the main pastor characters on the screen, I really enjoyed it. Also, his Chinese helper, anytime they were on the screen, I was kind of invested. Every time she was on the screen and with the pastor, sure. But every time she was kind of doing her own thing, it kind of took me out of the film. Because I knew what she was trying to do is like, okay, maybe I knew to not do negative and, think about the positive. Because this movie is also very anti-big government, anti-spending, and I 100% agree with that. As a person who sees the spending in the government, we need to stop. It is wasteful, and it just slaps me in the face of like, what are we doing on some things? Like some things you're just like, oh God. And you see the bills are passing of how much money we're sending to some of these countries that hate us. It's disgusting. But it's also about, like I said, the whole negative of being a politician, where it's always negative, negative, negative. Always find the negative of a person and just dog them down. And all you're in there is for power, to have the clap back moments and being a politician and be like, oh, I'm clapping back at people. And you're just like, yo, that's not the reason we elected you. We elected you because we want you to say what you said you were going to do. And that is where I'm terrified with one side of the aisle, because someone named Bernie Sanders is like, oh, she hasn't changed her progressive views. She's just saying stuff to get in office. You're just like, oh, Bernie Sanders, really? Really? And then CNN doesn't fucking question it. Doesn't question it at all. Just like, okay. And you're just like, really? And people wonder why people don't trust the media. And this also has that message in this as well. But like I said, the main message of this movie is go out and vote. If you want to see change, you got to do it. And the whole, negative, stereotypical thing where it's like, politicians, are they really for the people? Or are they for power? And you got to think, right? Because you have Nancy Pelosi, you have Mitch McConnell, you have the Bernie Sanders, you have, I already said Nancy Pelosi, you have Chuck Grassley from Iowa, you have Mitt Romney, you have that Josh Groban in North Carolina or South Carolina, that's Biden's friend. You have so many of these politicians. The girl that wears the horrible glasses from like Vermont. You have all these horrible politicians, and you're just like, what do you do for us? You're trading. You're doing insider trading for stocks. You're doing this and this. You're not for the people, are you? No, you're not. You're for the power. You're power hungry. And this movie does bring that into it. But yeah, like I said, too, negatives. Like I said, some slow parts, especially with the girl character. And sometimes you understand the message, but the last debate at the end was almost too perfect, which at a point it's like, come on now, what he's saying is somewhat believable, but really during a debate, are you really going to take the mic and like start walking the stage? Like, come on now, I understand what you're doing, but it kind of took me out of the movie because it didn't change to a debate. It turned into kind of a rally, and it's like, if you're going to rally, do a rally. If you're going to do a debate, do a debate. But no, I thought it was kind of a well-made movie. I got what I came for, and there's nothing else I could ask for. So God's Not Dead and God We Trust will receive a 3.5 out of 5 Futons, which equals at 70%. Let's see what the critics and news scores gave this one. So nothing for the critics yet. Audience score at 98% with over 50 of them. That's the audience review. Anyway, no critic consensus. The original God's Not Dead got a 12% from the critics, and then a 75% from the audience score. And I'm pretty sure it did massive in theaters. It did like the actual box office. Does it have it on Rotten Tomatoes anymore? Box office made $20 million on like a minuscule budget. So that's a freaking win. Anyway, 98-70. Chase out here at the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know things Futontopia. You Blue Futonians, thank you for watching. Have a great day. You can watch this tape tomorrow, week from a month, or a year from now, every single freaking one of you. And I'm about to sneeze, I think. Maybe not anymore.